Hey guys, Richard Holder here. Stock exhaust manifolds, low buck turbos. How well does a do-it-yourself turbo kit really work? In this video, we're going to find out how well our do-it-yourself twin turbo kit actually works. We've got our stock exhaust manifolds and we've got our low buck eBay GT35 turbos. In between is a custom pipe fabricated by my buddy Jason over at JTFAB that connects to stock exhaust manifolds right up to our low buck turbos and a position for our Turbo Smart wastegates. We've got a lot of other cool stuff on this combination. We have a Holley high ram. We have an air-to-water intercooler from Motion Raceworks. We also have a GM crate motor originally rated at 525 horsepower. Lots of cool stuff, but here's the question. Does it work? Before we get to our data, I want you guys to check out a couple things I have up on the channel. First of all, I've got playlists for any different engine family. I've got lots of LS stuff, including NA and turbocharged stuff, and I have those broken down for small block Chevy, big block Chevy, Hemi, modular Ford, Honda. There's turbo stuff, blower stuff, nitro stuff. There's all kinds of stuff, so anything that you're looking for, including the other guys where I run the Buick and the Cadillac and the 4.3 liter small little LT1 stuff. So check all that stuff out. But I wanted to cover 5 different videos that I want you guys to take a look at because I thought that they were really cool and they deserve a second look. The first one is how to maximize power out of your 6-liter. So check out that video. I'm going to put a link up right here. If you want to know how to modify your 6-liter and how to get maximum power out of it, check out that video. Video number 2 is a comparison between a 5.3 liter LS and a 5.4 liter 4-valve modular Ford, both NA and boosted. So good stuff. So which one's better, the 5.3 or the 5.4? Check it out. That video is going to be right here. The third video I want you to take a look at is how to cure low oil pressure on my particular vehicle, which was a 2002 Silverado. The oil pressure started getting low. So check out what happened and what I went through to try to cure the low oil pressure blues. That video is going to be right here. Number 4, we're going to take a look at on my 5-liter Ford, guys. Would you rather modify your 5-liter 302 or maybe swap something else into it like a 351? Hard choice, but that video is right here. And the final one, number 5, is going to be my turbo test. It is a low buck cheap turbo test run on a K24A2 Honda motor. So I ran a variety of different turbos. You can check out all of that stuff right here. Now let's get to those results. Before adding boost to our naturally aspirated crate motor, first of all, we had to run our naturally aspirated crate motor. In this case, it came from GM Performance, and it was a 6.2 liter LS3 base crate motor that originally came carbureted, but with a camshaft upgrade. It was already good because we had a good starting point. It was an LS3 motor from GM Performance Parts. It was 6.2 liters. It was all aluminum. It had very good cylinder heads on it. The LS3 heads flow about 315 CFM, which is enough to support way over 600 horsepower on the right combination. Now, our combination didn't have nearly enough camshaft to take advantage of all that those heads had to offer, but that didn't stop it from making pretty impressive power, especially after they upgraded the base LS3 motor with a hotter camshaft. GM installed their ASA cam, which was 525 lift, and a 226, 236 degree duration split. So that stepped it up quite a bit from the factory LS3 cam. It also worked with the factory LS3 valve springs, which is a good combination. Now, GM originally offered this motor with a single plane intake manifold, but we upgraded that even further, or I should say Mike Finnegan upgraded it even further with a Holley high ram, which is basically a tunnel ram, and they added 2 Holley 650 XP carburetors. So it was a dual quad tunnel ram on top of an already fairly good motor. And to run it up on the dyno, we installed a set of 1 7/8 long tube headers with collector extensions. We ran it with an MSD ignition controller to control the ignition on the carbureted LS, which obviously is typically EFI. But the MSD allowed us to dial in the ignition timing on the carbureted combination and run it at wide open throttle with any kind of timing curve that we desired. So what we did was just adjust the timing until we maximized the power output of this combination. It all worked out very well. So we had our carbureted LS with a cam, long tube headers, the MSD, and we ran all of this on pump gas. So our combination, or this combination, 6.2 liter LS3 base motor, produced pretty good impressive power for an NA combination. It produced 570.5 horsepower, and peak torque checked in at 499.4 foot-pounds. So almost 500 foot-pounds of torque and 570 horsepower. And as you can see from this combination, it had a nice broad torque curve. It had what we call the LS torque plateau. So if you see from about 4,800 all the way out to 5,800, so about 1,000 RPM spread, it was making very close to the same amount of torque. That makes for an impressive package when you have a nice flat torque curve like that. Even all the way through from 3,500 all the way out to 6,500, this thing exceeded 450 foot-pounds of torque. So 6.2 liter, good head, decent camshaft, high ram, dual quad. This thing was originally in a boat, and it looks like with the high ram and the dual quads, and especially if you have the over-the-transom headers, it looks like a boat motor, but this is a naturally aspirated boat motor, and obviously it doesn't make nearly enough power. So the best way for us to increase the power output is to add not one, but 2 turbos. Let's take a look. After running our 6.2 liter LS3 base crate motor naturally aspirated, it was time to add boost. And our boost, our twin turbo combination, our do-it-yourself twin turbo kit, started out with stock truck exhaust manifolds. Now what we did was flip them basically upside down. They were still aiming toward the back of the motor, but they were aiming up now. What that did is allow us to provide boost to a pair of GT35 82 turbos, each of them capable of about 500 horsepower. So we had about 1,000 horsepower worth of turbo to put on our 6.2 liter motor. Connecting the stock exhaust manifolds to the turbos was basically a custom pipe, a custom length of pipe, and these were whipped up by Jason over at JTFAB. So it allowed us to go from this stock exhaust manifold up to a T3 turbo flange, and also included in that pipe were provisions to provide the wastegates. Now we ran dual TurboSmart 45mm wastegates, one on each side, to control boost supplied by the turbos. Now the turbos fed into a Y, which fed into the opening in the EFI version of the Holley high ram. So it still had a high ram on it, but we used the EFI single throttle body lid feeding into a 105mm throttle body. But between the upper and lower portions of the high ram was an air-to-water intercooler offered by Motion Raceworks. It was a pretty cool deal, sandwich deal for the Holley high ram. We ran dyno water through it, but obviously if you wanted to get really sporty, you could also add ice water. So we were running the Holley HP management system. We also had Holley 120-pound injectors, and unlike the naturally aspirated combination that we ran on 91 octane, the twin turbo combination was set up to run on E85. We had big enough injectors, we had a big enough fuel pump, and obviously we had more than enough motor. Now we weren't going to run a ton of boost on this because that wasn't the game plan. What we wanted to do is show that you could build your own turbo kit, whether it's a single or a twin in this case. You could get boost to the motor, into any motor, and it all works out very well. So here's what happened when we added boost from our custom do-it-yourself twin turbo kit. So right away we stepped up to 821 horsepower and 694 foot-pounds of torque. Now this was at a peak boost of about 10 pounds. In this case it's actually only 9.5 pounds. And I'll show you what happened. This is an interesting phenomenon, and I've shown guys a bunch on the channel what happens when we run these turbo motors. They like to have heat in the hot side of the turbo. But unfortunately, normally we would run the motor and shut it off, do some tuning, turn it back on, run it again. But on these turbo motors, if we do a back-to-back test, meaning that we run right after another, we see good things. And here's what happened with no changes to the tune, no changes to air fuel, no changes to timing. All we did was make one run and then make another run. And I can show you what happens when we do that on the dyno. So here's the other run. And as I said, we made no changes. But we see a change in boost response, and I'll show you that on the boost curves. We see a change in boost response, and we see a change in power. So getting a little bit more heat into the hot side of the turbo resulted in improved response and more boost and a little bit more power. So we were all the way up to 839 horsepower and 710 foot-pounds of torque. And as I said, that's at a peak boost of 10 pounds. But in this case, we actually had a slightly rising boost curve. We were running just on the springs with no controller, no electronic controller like the TC1 controller that we normally use, or even a manual controller. So as you can see, we made really good power. This was on a very soft tune. This was only like 14 or so degrees of total timing out here at the power peak. So there's a bunch more left. At this low boost level, we would normally run 19, 20, 21, even as much as 22 pounds on this kind, or 22 degrees on this kind of combination. So this is a very soft tune setup. All we wanted to show was add turbos to any motor and good things happen. Let's get to our conclusion. Real quick before we get to our conclusion, I promised to show you the boost curve. So this was our cold run, basically, and by cold I mean the motor was sitting there idling and it had plenty of heat in it, and all we did was warm it up, make sure it was at the right water temperature, and laid into it and made the pull. But here's what happened after we run another backup run right after that with no changes to any of the settings. Here's our change in boost, and you saw the change in power already. So as you can see, the boost went up from a peak boost went up from 9.5 pounds at 6,400 to 10.1, and even down low we had more boost. So we went up from 7.3 pounds to 7.7 pounds, so 0.4 of a pound even there. And that's why we saw a gain in power basically all the way through the curve, because when we put more heat into the turbo, we got more boost out of the turbo. Now we can get to our conclusion. Okay guys, what do we learn from our venture with our do-it-yourself twin turbo kit? Well, you should learn the following thing. If you get the exhaust out of the motor and into the turbo, good things will happen. It doesn't matter what kind of motor you have. We had a fancy crate motor, but it works with anything. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, anything from the wrecking yard. Get the boost out of the motor, into the turbo blows into the motor, boost happens, and then magic! You have more power. And the great thing is, when you get a motor from the wrecking yard, or even the motor you already have, you have part of a turbo kit. Get some of those low buck turbos, connect the two together, and voila! You have boost. I'm Richard Holder. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. And guess what? I have a little tip. This motor is actually going in a vehicle. No, it's not a car. It's a boat. But that's another video for another day.